Leaders are men and women. To be an effective leader in this world, you need several different things, and I'm going to articulate what I believe some of them are and why. So first, you have to be a leader by example, which means you have to be a servant leader. So you might have heard the expression that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If you don't live the principles that you're espousing, then they're meaningless, because everybody knows that actions speak louder than words. And if you expect people just to do what you say, don't do what you do, it's not going to get you that far. I mean, even with kids and parents, kids look at what their parents do as opposed to what their parents say. I mean, saying the right things is important also, but not at the expense of doing the right thing. So that's probably number one. There's several other factors that are very important. One is that it's important to, both inspire and hold people appropriately accountable. So, they say, is it better to use the carrot or the stick, the proverbial carrot or the stick? So it's better to use the carrot, but people also have to be held appropriately accountable as well. And I'll say what I mean by appropriately accountable. So if all you have is accountability, then people do what you say for the most part if they want to get paid for their jobs, etc. When you're there, but as soon as you leave, they don't, because they haven't internalized it. It's one thing to get people to do things just for external reasons, because someone's watching them or because of money or whatever. And those can be motivators, but they say love is the killer app, and love is more powerful than fear. Let me explain how this relates to leadership and positive accountability as well, and inspiration. So if you do things because you have to, then you'll be motivated to a certain degree. But if you do things because you want to, that's what internal motivation is, and you'll be much more motivated. Like, people don't have to ask you, to follow your favorite sports team or, hobby, if you love going to museums or whatever you love to do, spending time with your kids, hopefully you love your kids or your wife or your husband. These are just intrinsic interest things. That's why my company, E-commerce ROI, has much higher margins, because we focus on intrinsic interest. Most companies focus on advertising, which is kind of like trying to get people to do something they may not really want to do, which is kind of like, just watching people, for leadership. It's only effective in the very short term, but it's not effective. It's more effective to actually have people do what they want to do. The great leaders, inspire people. Like they say Steve Jobs, and he was a bad leader, bad, because he kind of like intimidated people, and that doesn't bring out the best in people. But he also did get people to buy into the vision. That was one good thing that he did, that he created a vision. They call it a reality distortion field, actually, where, we're the band of warriors. He put up a pirate ship flag. They all banded together. It's kind of us against the world. I don't necessarily believe in us against the world, because I think that there's even higher types of vision than that. Like, I think, us bringing the world to a higher place is a higher vision, for example, than us against the world. But, whatever, people have different types of visions. But so if you want to be a great leader, just to kind of recap and expand a little bit more, one is lead by example, have people do what you do, not what you say. Because, part of it, of modeling, is that people don't know. Like, if you're a coach of a football team, you have to do X's and O's, because people don't know the plays. They don't, you're teaching them. And if you can actually demonstrate the plays, that's even one step better, or two steps better, or many steps better, because then they can actually see it in action. Or have the plays, demonstrated, like by video or, whatever means is available that is best. So lead by example, and then inspire people. Like, have people, bring in people, like they say, hire for attitude, train for skill. I've talked a lot about culture and other kind of things. If you hire people that are a good fit for the culture, then they will want to be there. And when you have a critical mass of people that are all excellent, then it brings out the best in each other and has like positive competition to each make each other better, with high standards, resonant with the culture. So inspire people, but then also hold people, appropriately accountable. Have high standards, inspire people, but expect that they're going to reach the standards, or put in full effort or whatever the criteria is, and that's how you become a great leader of men and women.